What we're going to talk about tonight is the rest survey. We did get a couple more people to respond to the survey, and got some, I guess, consistent results. One result I particularly want to talk about. Let me switch to that screen if I can figure out how to do that. That wants to be okay. So last week we went over the results of the survey that we had so far at the point of the call last week. And I figured after sending out the replay and then the link again to the survey in the replay notice that there would be a few more people go to the survey and fill it out. And there was a couple more, 2 or 3, I think. So we still didn't get as many responses as I wanted from it. In fact, with 43 people as active members here, we didn't even get 25% response. So I was kind of disappointed in that less than 25% of the people wanted to take the time to do the survey, when this is all about you guys. I mean, there's not many coaching classes like it where the members get to shape the coaching itself and what goes on in it. So I'd hoped that more people would be more encouraged to participate and put their input in. But of the people that did go fill out the survey, I mean, it was overwhelming. Over 60% of the people are interested in a group project. So I decided we're going to go ahead and work on that, and we're going to come up with a project where we're going to launch a product. And to be honest with you, I'd actually prefer it not to be in the IM niche. I mean, it could be if that's what everybody wants to do. We're going to again take suggestions from you guys on this, on what niche we want to do it in. But I'd kind of like to do it outside of the IM niche for 2 reasons. One is if we do it outside of the IM niche, we can go over to the ClickBank marketplace and list the product there, and have a massive amount of affiliates that might want to promote the product that we create. And then 2, we had a couple requests for training on something outside of the IM niche, so we'd be killing 2 birds with 1 stone that way. But it doesn't matter. I mean, if y'all wanted to do one in the IM niche, we could do that. So before we go further, how many people do we have on the call here tonight? Same 3. Roy says, I do need to do, let's explore the marketplace and see what niche we would convert the best. Well, you have the general broad niches, and we just need to decide which broad niche we want to go into, and then from there, each one of us would research and find out, what might be a popular sub niche to go in under that broad niche. Now, we don't want to get too niche specific, to where we're narrowing it down so much, if there's not a very big market for it. But if we start out with a broad niche and then just go into the marketplaces and look for things that are in that niche, and then see what's selling well in there, that'll give us a good indication of what we should do. I'd prefer it to be in non-IM, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, if you guys wanted to do something in IM, we could still do that, because we got definite marketplaces for that. There's people that want to be affiliates in that for sure. If we do go into a non-IM niche, it's going to be more work on each one of us to try to get affiliate partners, which is going to be part of the process. Now, talking about the group project, we're going to have to decide how we want to work the actual creation of the product. Obviously, if it's a small group, we can't put all of the product creation on the one person. Or, if we depend on how many people actually want to participate too, as well. If we had several people that want to step up so they want to participate, we could segment, most of the product creation off to 1 or 2 people. But I have a feeling we're not going to have that many people, so we're each going to have to participate in each part of it. Now, there may be some parts of it where you may not be able to help very much, like in example given graphics. I can do some graphics. I'm not no graphic artist, but pretty good with Photoshop. If I can find a PSD on anything, I can usually, if I can have a PSD to work with, I can take that and do lots with it. And I know a lot of tricks with Photoshop, but I'm no graphic artist, so it may be in our best interest to have something that looks really good to maybe outsource getting a mini site done, or maybe some graphics for an e-cover or something like that. It may be in our best interest to do something like it, because we want to, if we're going to go over into the ClickBank marketplace, we want to have something that's sharp, it's going to grab attention, it's going to look professional, so that when some of the super affiliates go to look at it that are in that niche, it's something that's going to stand out to them, and they're going to want to promote it from the initial looks of what we're offering. And it may be that some of this, we're going to get into technical things with this as well. And again, that's where I can help a lot, because I have a lot of technical experience. Websites and scripts and stuff like that don't bother me. I can figure out most anything along that line. But even if it gets to the point, where you don't feel like there's much that you could do, that everybody can help with, contacting affiliates and rounding up JV partners. Everybody can do that. All it takes is just going to their website, getting a contact address, and send them an email. That's all it takes. It takes 10-15 minutes a day to find one or two and send them an email, and repeat the process again for the next day. I would like for this to be something that would be popular and profitable for all of us, since we're all going to be JV partners in it that participate in it. Now, all of the major affiliate networks that we would use, ClickBank, JVZoo, and Warriors Plus, all three have JV contracts. So we can set up JV contracts in all of them, and depending on how many people are in it, split it up evenly amongst everyone that's participating, to wherein after the affiliate gets paid, whatever's left, it gets split up amongst all the partners, so that everybody gets automatic payments out of it. But like I said, there are several parts to creating a product. If you've ever created a product, there's a process that you have to go through, and the product creation is just part of it. After that, you have the actual launch of the product, and that's one part that I guess most all of us need to experience. And I've been through product launches a lot, so I know exactly what to do with them, but maybe you haven't done one, so this will be a good learning experience for everybody that's involved to go through the product launch. And plus, all this will be recorded, so people that even aren't part of the project can see how it's done, and maybe be able to duplicate it themselves when they're at that point of ready to create some sort of a product of their own, or have one created for them. I mean, everything we're going to do can be outsourced. You don't really have to do any of this yourself if you've cut the money to pay somebody else to do it. So, but like I said, it was over a 60% response of people said they were interested in doing this, and then another 20 to 25% of people said they were possibly interested in it. So, like I said, it's pretty much an affirmation that everybody's interested in doing some sort of a group project. Now, like I said, I'd like to pool on our own resources if at all possible, and try not to spend any money if we can avoid it. Of course, if we do go with the ClickBank marketplace, we are going to have to pay a listing fee over there, which, since I already have an account there, we can get one for $29, which is no big deal. And if it gets down to, we can't come out with graphics that we want for it, and we have to hire somebody to create a mini site and a couple of e-covers, that may be another $50 or so. But we're going to try to do this as much as we can ourselves and not spend any money. But I think it would be a good thing for us to do, because like I said, we're all going to learn in the process. We're all going to see what it takes to do a product launch. Everybody will get to participate in the product launch, and then everybody's going to make money out of it, because it's going to be a product. It's going to be for sale for as long as it's making sales over in the ClickBank marketplace. If that's where we decide to go, as long as it's listed in there, as long as it makes a sale, you're going to make money from it. Thing says, could people not in the niche transfer what they learn to their own niche. Exactly. Yeah. The whole idea, and I try to stress this to people that even though we're doing a course, and take for instance the list building course, we talk primarily about building a list in the IM niche, but the same principles can be applied to no matter what niche you're in. You're still going to be building a list in the weight loss niche, in the personal finance niche, or whatever, self-help or whatever. You're still going to be building a list in there, and you can apply those same principles to any other niche. And that's the reason for the one response said that they wanted something outside of the IM niche, that they didn't know how to apply what they were learning to the IM niche. So that's why I wanted to do this group project outside of the IM niche if we could. So it would be a great example, and people can see that, hey, these steps we went through these steps in this other course. So we're just applying the same thing. It's just, a different niche. But yeah, definitely every bit of it can be applied to any niche. It's just you may have to tweak it a little bit one way or another. A good example is taking the list building course, for example. It's really easy to find people to sell you a solo ad if you're building a list in the IM niche. But now if you're building a list in weight loss or self-help or any of the other niches like that, there's not a readily list of solo ad sellers. You have to go out and search for them and really dig around into places where those type of people hang out, where and find out who has lists there and contact those people and ask them if they're willing to sell you a solo ad. So even though it's the same principles, it's not as easy to get solo ads in a different niche. But it's still the same exact principles. Once you find somebody that's willing to sell you a solo ad, it's the same exact procedure that you follow through, no matter what it was, the niche you're trying to work in. It's the same thing for every bit of it. Of course, as I say, outsource the graphics. Well, let's wait and see, Roy. We may not have to. Like I said, I can do wonders with a PSD in Photoshop. If I got a good PSD to work with, and it's something that's really closely related to what we're going to be working on. And there's places where you can buy PSDs too. So we'll just wait and see when we get to that point what we want to do. The hardest part is really not going to be the product itself or the graphics itself. The hardest part is going to be coming up with the sales page. The sales page is going to be the hardest part for us to get done, because you've got to have something that's it's going to grab people's attention. It's going to draw them in. It's going to convince them that they need the product, and it's going to convert. Now, there's a couple ways of doing sales pages. As you know, you can do the traditional long text ones, which is what I prefer to do, or you can do a video sales page. If we do a video sales page, we're going to have somebody with a good speaking voice that can do that. And it may be that we want to do both and split test, see which one converts the most. A good example of that is Eric Holmland. He always does his sales. He starts out, with it's a video sales letter, and they're pretty lengthy, because he tells everything about his history and everything in his video sales letters. But if you ever go to one of them and you go to exit the page, it automatically comes up with a pop-up script that says, "Hey, I know this video was long. Here's a text version of the sales page." See, if you stay on the page, it pulls up a long text version of the sales page. So it may be that we want to do something like that, create some sort of a video sales letter, and then try that and have it set to do an exit script to a traditional sales long text sales letter. But the sales letter is going to be the hardest part, because it's your first chance at grabbing somebody's attention. It's something you've really got to make stand out, and make it seem like something they want to pay attention to right away. So that's going to be the hardest part. The actual product itself, guys, I'll tell you, when you go to create a product, it doesn't take much to create a product to get people that are happy with it, because it doesn't matter what niche you're in, there's always somebody that knows less than you do about that niche, and that's the people you're appealing to, is the people that are wanting to learn something. And as long as you know a little bit more than they do, they're happy with what they bought from you. Now, of course, if you're selling something flat out don't work, or flat out, mistruth or whatever, you're going to have problems with something like that. But in general, I mean, it doesn't take much to create a product that people are happy with. As long as it's got good information, it's got a good flow through it, and people get some sort of value out of it and get some sort of resolution out of it, people are happy with the product. So the product's not going to be the hard part. It may be hard in that, it might take us a while to get it done, as far as, depending on how many people contribute to it and what we have to contribute. But, the sales page, I believe, and then the grunt work of getting affiliates is going to be the hardest part, actually. But anyway, like I said, we had, if we totaled up both of the definite yeses and the maybes, almost 80% of the people want to do a group project. So we're going to work on coming up with an idea for that. Like I said, I'd like to pick a broad niche, take the broad niche, and then each one of us that are willing to participate, we're going to have to figure out some way of getting everybody to say if they want to participate and how they think they can contribute to the project. And then, like I said, we want to take the broad niche and go in, everybody research the niche and decide, what sub niche we want to go into of that. The next thing is, I had 2 people ask about this in the survey, is a general comprehensive where to start and what to do next type course. The courses that we have now inside the SWR, we have the main course of course, which is the one that tells you to build a website and start building your brand to get yourself known out in your niche, whatever it might be. And it kind of leaves it at that point. And from that point, we have these 6 other courses that you choose which one you wanted to take next, and there's no particular order. So we had 2 people that requested they wanted some sort of a getting started, where to start and what to do as far as setting up a business. And so what we're going to do is a comprehensive course of how to get started, what to do, and what order to do it in. Now, it's going to be kind of broad and general. It's more than likely going to be based on the IM niche. I mean, we could incorporate part of the group project into this, depending on how far we get with the group project to start with when we do this course. But it's going to be just a general course where you start from scratch, and at the end of, say, we'll call it 30 days, you have a business that's up online, and you have either products for sale in it, or you have affiliate products that you've picked out that you're ready to sell, whatever it might be, whatever you're planning on selling. It could be services or whatever. But like I said, I had 2 people that requested that, and I've had that, question before about, some sort of a just general strategy of where to start and what to do to get an online business up and running. So we're going to do a comprehensive course on that, and it may take 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to go through it. Kind of like what I'd like to do is start this course. First half of our class, we go through this comprehensive course, and then the second half we talk about our group project. I kind of like to do it that way. That way, each week, we're going to be going through a lesson, and then the second half of the session, the people that are involved in the group project could stay, and we'll talk about how we're doing with the group project. And that way we'll get 2 things done at once. The next one was suggested, I've heard this in email replies too, and it was suggested in the survey itself to have strategy guides and checklists to go with each course that we do. Now, I did that on the very first one, the very first main course that we have. I did do homework in it, and then in the list building masterclass there was also strategy guides. But I haven't done that for every single course that we've done, so I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start creating strategy guides and checklists to go along with each of our future courses whenever possible. Sometimes it might not be possible. Take, for example, the Warriors Plus list building course. There wasn't a whole lot of strategy guide you could do for something like it, 'cause it was all just tutorial showing you how to set up listings. And then the results from each one that I did, those case studies, it's kind of hard to do strategy guides for something like that. You can do, I guess, a checklist, you know, what to make sure you've done when you're doing a product listing over on Warriors Plus. But other than that, it's kind of hard to do a strategy guide for every little thing that you do. And then the last thing is I'm working on another product that I'm going to be releasing pretty soon, and it's actually going to be a membership site, and it's going to be a done for you membership site. You guys are going to get access to it, but it's going to have a viral twist to it. It's going to be a membership site, in the IM niche itself. It's going to be a sub niche of the IM niche, but it's going to have a unique twist to it to get members to join your membership site. And like I said, you guys are going to get access to it. I'm hoping, I've been working on this for a little over a week now, pulling all the content together. I'm hoping to have it ready to go within the next week and launch it. And then after it's launched, I'll give you guys access to it and you can start using it. But that's a bonus that's coming up. But let's go back to the group project and talk about that for a little bit, because I know that's one of the things that we're going to spend a lot of time on. Just off the top of your heads, I mean, like I said, this is nothing set in stone. What niches or niche are you interested in that you would want to do a group project in? Just type some in that you're interested in. Now, it does need to be something that you're willing to work in, so don't put in something that, you think it's cool, but you have no clue of anything at all about it, and you have no idea where to start. So don't put in something that you probably can't do anything with it. Roy says recipes. Recipes is a good niche, yeah. Fishing. Fishing is a good niche, but it's kind of hard to come out with a good fishing product that doesn't appeal to just the absolute beginner. Because once you've been fishing is something, it's not easy, it's not hard to learn. So anybody's been in it for a little bit, it takes quite a bit to attract them into a product like that. But the general people that are just getting started, and there's millions of people that just, picked up their first rod and reel for the first time each summer. I guarantee, it's a given. But the second part of something like that is, you're not going to see a fisherman in a boat with a PDF reading it, so or watching a video. So kind of have to think along the terms like that too. Dana says health. Chris says alt health, maybe paleo diet recipes. Yeah, see, there's a good idea. That's actually along with recipes and the health niche as well. So those are great ideas. So what we'll do is, I guess I'll post the question over in the Facebook group, and we'll get people to suggest things over there. And then I think, and I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure we can do a poll over in the Facebook group. I've seen people doing polls over there. Maybe they're using some sort of app, but I'll look into that and see if there's some way we can do a poll inside the group. I've seen people doing that in Facebook groups, so I'll look and see how you do those. Now, the other thing with a group project is the actual product launch itself. Now, we talked about this in the Monday night call about how to get affiliates. When we get to a certain point with the group project, something that we're ready to start showing people about what we've done and what we have, it's going to be time to start looking for affiliates. So we need to have a plan of, good six weeks or so of a launch date, so we, give affiliates plenty of time to, to take interest and schedule it to work with us on it. So this project may take, all the rest of the summer and maybe part of September before it actually gets to launch. So, we're looking at probably a good 8 to 10 to 12 weeks probably for this project to actually launch and And the bulk of it will be, spending probably half of that time or a good third of it anyway, just going out trying to recruit affiliates and, giving them plenty of time to schedule it in their launches. Roy says, yep, I think paleo diet recipes would be a hot niche. Uh, it could be, that it's a really crowded niche. Not that a crowded niche is a bad thing, because actually it's an indicator of a niche that's making money when you have a lot of people that are um, have products in it, and there's a lot of competition in it. It tells you it's a niche that's making money, or there wouldn't be that many people doing it. What you'd have to do when you get into a crowded niche like that is come up with your own unique angle, something that catches people's attention that they haven't seen before. If any of you guys have ever listened to the go-to expert training that I did, that's what I talk about in it, is finding your unique angle to stand out from the crowd if everybody's talking about the same thing, making yourself the one that draws the attention. Then it says, considering the probable launch date, what about a holiday angle? That's another thing we should be considering, since it is probably going to be around September, so for the product would launch. It might be something we want to consider as a product that has something to do with the upcoming Thanksgiving or Halloween or Christmas holiday. I mean, we're getting ready to go at that time. You should be getting prepared for all three of those holidays. All three of those are good money making holidays, and that would actually, if we wanted to target a holiday season, it would give us a date goal to work towards, because we'd know we'd want to get our product ready 6 weeks before that date of when we wanted to launch for that holiday. So that would give us a date goal to work towards as well. Or it says it just means people are spending money, so you to be unique is or stupid, not a me too. Yep. That's what you need to do with any product that you launch. You want to look for your unique angle in it, and try to make your product stand out somewhat differently from everybody else's. I mean, if everybody else puts out the same 50 paleo diet recipes, I mean, there's no interest in it, because once you go to one page and you see the same thing over and over and over again, you're only going to buy it once. But if you go to a website that has a different spin on it, like how to do paleo diet with all smoothies or something like that, I'm just throwing things out here. I don't really know a whole lot about the paleo diet. I know what it is, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. Thing says healthy eating, paleo diets, etc., getting through the holidays. Or it says healthy turkey day diets. Okay, guys, does that sound like a good agenda? Does that sound like something we can work with here for the next few weeks? Like I said, probably next week we'll start with the first part of the where to start and what to do next course. We'll do the first part of it next week. Between now and next week, I'm going to post several things over in the Facebook group, trying to spur some response from people and find out who's interested in participating in the group project and what part they might want to help with. Once we decide on a niche and a sub niche, we're going to need to next work on an outline. So hopefully by this time next week, if we have enough people that respond and contribute, their ideas, by this time next week we'll have uh, a topic picked out, and maybe we can start working on an outline for the second half of next week's class. That'll be part of our group project. Part of the class next week is to start working on an outline. Yeah, I plan on doing. I'm trying now that we've got it. The survey is pretty much done now. I think about it. Everybody's going to go fill out the survey. It's been there now. We got all the results. I'm going to email through the membership site, plus the get response list, plus post over in the Facebook group, and I may even post in that Skype room, even though I don't know how many people would see that. But I'm going to hit everybody hard for the next few days, trying to get them to go to the Facebook group and post something to respond to this group project idea. Um, And I think, actually doing this group project will actually bring us together and make us more interactive to start with, because um, we'll actually have to work together, especially if we break off into little subgroups to work on particular parts of it, parts of the project. So you definitely, if we do that, you'll be working one-on-one with somebody else. But anyway, this is the agenda that I've come up with. This will take us all the way through September, I'm sure, to do most of this. So this is all the results of the survey. So if you're watching this in replay and you don't like what's on the screen, it's your own fault. You didn't come fill out the survey. You didn't go to the Facebook group and post anything. So now's going to be your chance to go to the Facebook group when you're watching this replay and post your opinion. Okay, guys. Well, that's all I have for tonight. It's right at about 30 minutes. I figured we wouldn't be here very long. Look for some emails to come in and then some post over on the Facebook group. If you know anybody that's in the SWR, contact them. If you haven't been to the Facebook group, well, contact them, send them messages or whatever. Tell them they need to go to the Facebook group and start, look at what's been posted there. But thanks for coming, guys, and let's see if we can kick this off and get this going next week. We'll start the new course, and we'll talk about our group project more. Thanks for coming, guys. Have a great night.